Hello and welcome to this crochet tutorial on how we're going to make these unusual looking gloves. They have extra warmth here on the top because there is 2 layers, and we have our fingers that are woven in a front pattern design wrapping around your fingers on the back. Very simple and basic pattern. I will take you step by step. I made it in these colors so that you can see how it's done. This would look awesome in black yarn with gold trim. We use a size 3 weight. The stitches we use is half double crochet and chain stitches. So come with me and I'll show you how to make these really comfortable, I think really cute. It's along the punk gothic line of look. Let's get started. The materials and the tools that we're going to use. Here I have some light pink. It is a size 3 yarn, so it is a baby weight yarn. I have a hook here, 3.75, pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle for the yarn that we're going to use. For the top stitching, we'll be using, I have like a glitter in the yarn here. It's a size 3 weight. We won't be using a lot of it. And I'll be using a 5.50 millimeter crochet hook. Now, to make things easier as we go along, I'm going to be using this clicker, which will help with the count of the row that we're on. I will also put the number of the row in the description for when it comes time when you have to make the second one. I wanted to give you in advance what the shape of our glove is going to look like. This right here will be our thumb area, which will cover right here. And this is the wrap, so this will be the wrist. And so the short piece, this will attach up here. The other piece will wrap around like so. Okay, so since I've already made my first one, I'm going to be making the second one for the video. You'll also notice that I have the longer strings here at the end. Okay, so at the end of this row, we want to leave about 24 inches for the end of the thumb to sew in here. I want to leave about 18 inches. This one here will weave in after we go along. I have a second piece I'd like to show you. This is the piece for the fingers. Now this one is not completed, so you don't see the design on it yet. All right, so we will also make this one as well, and we will need our 24 inches on one end, and this other piece will just weave it in as we go along. So now that we've recognized our 2 pieces, let's begin. Before I begin, I like to pull my yarn from the center skein, and I like to pull out enough so that when I make my chain stitches and my first few stitching, that I have enough so I can help maintain a proper tension. Row 1. So to begin, let's start off with about a 6-inch tail. We're going to place a slip knot on our hook and we're going to chain 16. You want to keep them a little loose. So I have 1, 2, 3. Continue until you have 16. The loop on our hook does not count. We're going to count this one right here. So we're going to skip this chain and into the next chain 1 half double crochet. Half double crochet to the end of the row. You should have 15 half double crochets. Row 2. So at the end of this row, we want to chain 1 and turn. We're going to start right here into this first one. 15 half doubles crochets across. Now we're going to be doing this for row 2, 3, 4, and 5. So after you've completed row 5, we will start on row 6 with the curvature that we needed for our thumb spacing. Row 6. So at the end of the row, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to do 13 half double crochets across. So we're going to stop within the last 2, so we'll stop right here at the third one from the end. 13 half double crochets. All right, and here's number 13. So the next stitch that we're going to do is half double crochet 2 together. So to do that, yarn over, go through our next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the last stitch, pull up a loop, and then we should have 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, aim the hook straight down, and pull through all 5. Chain 1, and let's turn our work. So here, we're going on to number 7. So at the beginning of this row, we do our chain 1 and turn our work. So this first one and the second one, we're going to do our half double crochet together also. So pick up a loop, yarn over, pick up a loop, yarn over, and through all 5. For the rest of the row, half double crochets, and we'll do 12 of them. So I have 1, 2, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Row 8, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And we're going to start off with 11 half double crochets. Continue and cross until you get to the last 2. I'll meet you there. In our last stitch, last 2 stitches, we're going to do the half double crochet 2 together. So we're going to pick up the 1 here, yarn over, and right on top of the previous row, half double crochet 2 together. We have 5 loops on our hook, yarn through all 5, chain 1, and turn our work. Row 9, half double crochets across the row. Row 10, chain 1 and turn. We're going to do 11 half double crochets across, and we're going to skip this last one here. All right, so continue across and you'll stop right here. You won't put one there in the very last one. Row 11, chain 1, let's turn our work. We're going to do 11 half double crochets across to the end of the row. So before we move on, I want to show you where we're at on our finished glove. We're right here. So we're going to do this next row, and then we're going to chain 9. So we'll do 11 half double crochets and chain 9. Row 12. All right, chain 1, let's turn our work. 11 half double crochets right here to the end. After you do that, you chain 9. This is what the look should be after we finished with our chain 9. Let's move on to row 13. We're going to skip the first chain, half double crochet into the second. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we'll have these empty ones right here. That'll be for our when we start filling in the other side. So let's chain 1, row 14, let's turn our work. The first 2 stitches, half double crochet 2 together. And 3 half double crochets to the end of the row. So this is what we have so far. I need to pull my yarn out. Row 15, let's chain 1 and turn our work. 2 half double crochet, and then the next 2 is going to be the 2 half double crochet 2 together. Okay, chain 1. Let's turn our work. Row 16, 3 half double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. All right, this is where we want to cut with a 18-inch tail. And we're just going to pull it through. So this is what we have so far. Row 17. Now you'll notice here that when we finished, we have our right side facing us. Let's go ahead and flip it over. Make sure your thumb piece is facing down. Let's start with about a 6-inch tail. Place a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to start with a standing half double crochet. Alright, so here I'm going to start in this first one right here. So with the loop on your hook, place your finger on top of it, yarn over, go through that hole, pull up a loop, and if you have to, you can hold onto your tail, yarn over and through all 3 loops, and that's a standing half double crochet. Now we can take our tail now and go across. Okay, so we want to do a total of 19 half double crochets. So we've already did the 1 and 2. And if you notice, I'm not picking up that one of the chain. In my opinion, because of the gloves, it'll cause it to stretch out. So if you go in between right here, it'll be just fine and you won't see the separation. So continue across. Excuse me, I've been eating on M&Ms. So we have 3. So continue across until you have a total of 19, and that'll be here at the end of the row. Now if you have your tail where it's extending over, just pull on it a tiny bit, cut it close to your work, pull it back, and it will disappear. Move on to row 18. So let's chain 1, turn our work, (16) half double crochets across, the last 2 of the row will get the half double crochet 2 together. I'm at the end of this row, so let's do our half double crochet 2 together. Chain 1, and let's turn our work. See our shape? Okay. Row 19. 18 half double crochets all the way across. Row 20. Let's chain 1, turn our work, 17 half double crochets across. When you get to the end of the row, we are not going to do this last one right here. So we'll stop at after 17 half double crochets. Only a few more rows and then we'll be done with the base of our glove. Row 21. Let's chain 1 and turn. And we're going to do 17 half double crochets all the way across. Row 22. Chain 1, turn our work, 15 half double crochets, and in the last two half double crochet 2 together. So after the 15 are half double crochet 2 together. Chain 1, turn our work, we're starting on row 23. All right, so 16 half double crochets across till you get to the end of the row. Chain 1, turn, and row 24 will be the same thing. 16 half double crochets across, chain 1, turn. I'll meet you after those 2 rows. Row 25, chain 1, let's turn our work. We're going to start off with half double crochet 2 together. And then across our row, 14 half double crochets. Row 26, chain 1, turn your work, 15 half double crochets, 27, chain 1, turn your work, 15 half double crochets, and we're going to leave an 18-inch tail for sewing. So that'll make it so that the base of this glove is completed. After you've completed your first one, go ahead and go back to the beginning and you can complete your second one. Next, we will create the overlay for the fingers. So here you can see we have 2 bases for our gloves. So to remind you, this is the one we're going to create next. Alright, so we're going to go over this a little bit so you'll be able to understand some of the craziness of the 4th row. We're going to start off with a chain of 24, skip the first one, 23 half double crochets. We'll do that for the 2nd row, and on the 3rd row we will finish it with half double crochet 2 together. The beginning of the 4th row, we'll start off with a single crochet, half double crochet 2 together, and then you'll notice here we have our little finger pieces. So we'll do a number of half double crochets, and then we'll chain, and then we'll come down here and tie it into the next stitch, and then we'll chain, tie it into the next stitch, we'll chain, tie it into that next stitch, chain, and each one of these have half double crochets coming back, and then we'll finish the row with half double crochets, and that'll be it. So let's get started on this. Let's start off so you can be prepared. let's chain 24. So here we have our chain of 24. Let's go ahead and skip that first chain, and we're going to half double crochet in the next and all the way down to the end for a total of 23 half double crochets. For row 2 of this second piece, let's chain 1, turn our work, 23 half double crochets to the end of the row. So for our third row, chain 1, turn, and this time we're going to do 21 half double crochets, and at the end of the row, in the last 2, half double crochet 2 together. So I did my 21. Let's do our 2 half double crochets together, chain 1 and turn. Now this row will be what we make our fingers. So this very last row will have all of these fingers, and I will take you through it step by step. So have no fear, and this is what actually makes the gloves special. Okay, so in our very first one, I'm going to do a single crochet, and in our next 2 we're going to do our half double crochet 2 together, seven half double crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so you ready to make your first finger? I'm pulling my extra yarn out. Okay, so let's chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, sorry, that was out of camera range. Okay, so skip the first chain, and we're going to half double crochet in the next 9. Okay, so go ahead and do the half double crochet for the 9, and I'll meet you right here. So this is what we have. You have 1 chain left. In that last chain, 2 half double crochets. And that'll be spreading out a little so it'll fill in. Okay, and into the next stitch, you see our half double crochet is here. Even though it's slid over, it's on this stitch, so we want to go to the next one, and we're going to slip stitch. All right, so that completes 1 finger. So let's chain 1 and half double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so you see what we have here? We did 2 in that 1 chain, slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1, half double crochet into the next one. So this finger here took 1, 2, and begin right here. So 1, 2 will be our next finger. And I am going to chain 33. 1, 2, 3. Keep them kind of loose. Go ahead and chain 33 and I'll meet you there. And this is the longest one of them all. That's going to be covering this finger here. So we're going to skip that first chain, and in the second chain, half double crochet. Okay, half double crochet a total of 31 times. So we did 1 here, so that means you want to do 30 more, and you will have 1 chain left. There we'll do 2 half double crochets, slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1 and half double crochet into that next stitch. So I will still go over it with you. So we have 1, we want to do 30 more, and I'll meet you down here. So I have 1 chain left, 2 half double crochets in that 1 chain, slip stitch into the next, chain 1, half double crochet into that next. Now for those of you who would like to jump ahead, the next finger is chain of 28, and then the last one will be a chain of 21. So right here we've half double crochet, so now we're going to chain 28, okay, we'll skip that last chain and come back doing a total of 26. You'll do 2 half double crochets in that last chain, slip stitch, half double crochet, chain 26, or excuse me, chain 21. You'll do 19 half double crochets, 2 in the last, and then you'll slip stitch, chain 1, and half double crochet in the last 5 stitches. I'll have it up right here on so you know what to do, but since I've told it to you, I'm not gonna extend the video for that because the writing will be on the video. So go ahead and finish this row, and then we'll move on to our next step. So as you can see here, after we've completed this one, we make our second one, as well as we have the 2 gloves. Next, we're going to go ahead and do some sewing. So get your tapestry needle ready, and we'll move on. We're going to start with the left-handed glove first. So if you notice, our thumb is pointing towards the right, and with the short one right here, we want that on our right side also. So take this curved end and line it up with our thumb. You can adjust it. Then take the other end and bring it along the diagonal till the end piece hits. It's about 1, 2, 3 on the 4th half double crochet up from the bottom. You'll have 2 yarns here, one that's a little short and one that's a little long. Take the one that's long, thread our needle. Then what we're going to do is just a basic whip stitch, and this will hold the ends together. So I pulled one through. I'm going to go down to the next couple of stitches, and this is how we make a whip stitch. And we're going to do that till we get to the first half double crochet 2 together right here. So let's keep going. This will also add extra support and cushion for your thumb area. Okay, so here I am at the last one. So that'll hold all that down. So make sure you have like a straight line, and you'll see that part of the glove does come above the band here. So go ahead and place those back down. We also have 4 half double crochets hanging over. This will get sewn down when we make the tube of the glove. So right here we can do just a basic running stitch. You see how I'm just going over and under the tops of the half double crochets, making sure I go through the bottom portion. Okay, I'm going to stretch it a little so it'll all fit. Now we will be doing a top stitching, but we want to make sure that these ends stay down. Okay, so here I am at the end. And we're going to do our little running stitch to the bottom here, and then we're going to run our stitch back along the bottom. So we'll do a running stitch along here until you reach this bottom opening right here, and then you'll whip stitch it closed. Go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you how to set up for the top stitching for the fingers and the decoration along our band. When you get to the end, do not cut this string or this end piece of yarn. We're going to be using it to sew the thumb down to our section here. So I'm going to tie a square knot in there so that way it won't come undone. Okay, and any other strings that we have here or tails, do not cut them yet or do not weave them in. We will get these later. So we're going to be making accent lines on here to help define this band and the finger wraps that we're going to be placing on here. So with our hook, we want to start with a sufficient tail. I have about 8 inches here. We're going to start down here. You'll notice that we have a line that we can follow right along the edge. So go ahead and place your hook down. You're going to go through both layers, and then we're going to pull that yarn up from the bottom. Okay. Then we're going to go to the next, we're going to go over that half double crochet and go down in between the two and pull up our yarn for our next one. Now because this first one, and I'm showing you how to do it, is stretched out of shape a little bit. So try to keep your chain links uniform. So go over the next one, down into the hole, pick up the yarn, and pull it through. Okay, let's keep on going. Okay, now you're going to want to take that blue yarn that I have, and it's going to go underneath our glove too, where we're going to be grabbing at. So we want to go down, keep following that line. You see how it gives a nice little pattern here? Now I know the colors are kind of off. I'm doing this for video purposes so that it'll look nice. Give you an idea and still look nice to be worn. Okay, now I do snag here, so you will have fine times of where you will snag just like me. Come on now. Here we go. There we go. I find that if you kind of twist it underneath, it works okay. So keep on going. So I'm going to twist around it. There we go. And into the next stitch and twist around it. Now if you do embroidery, you might get a little creative and want to place maybe a blanket stitch with a different color. Whatever you choose to do. Creativity through crochet can be used with other techniques such as embroidery to make your finished item look super nice. Here we go. Now if you can see, I have the yarn like this under my fingers to help control the tension as well as being able to pull it up. Okay, so whoops, I grabbed the wrong one, didn't I? So keep on going until you get to right here. I have a few more to do, and I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so you can see that I am here at the end of my row. Do not cut it just yet. I'd like for you to pull some extra off to make sure that you have enough so that we can create our circle when we sew everything together. So go ahead, pinch the top of that chain, pull everything else through, and that'll keep it from coming undone. You will have a lot of extra strings hanging around on this particular project, but when it's all done, I'm hoping that it'll be something that you will enjoy wearing. So we're going to start our second row of stitching here. I'm going to go right down here all the way to the end, starting and stopping the same way that I showed you on this one. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll work here on the fingers next. When stopping this top row here, make sure you stop where the glove is and not go on. We're going to continue to do that when we join them as a tube. So we'll go ahead and pull some more yarn through here and cut the one so that way it won't unravel on us. All right, let's start our fingers next. I know you must be thinking, with all these crazy things going on, it'll all work out, trust me. All right, so I'm going to pick up, let's see, probably this one right here, because it looks like it's in the center of our finger here. Now I will be going over the two layers here, not just the finger, and we're going to be leaving a tail behind. so that we can sew it in. And we're going to start the chain here. So we're going to pick up. Remember that first one's going to be a little off, and then onto the second one, the third one. Okay, so now we're going to keep right on going now that I'm on to just the finger wrap part. And I'm going to go right down the middle, so in between the half double crochets all the way to the end. I hope you like this design. I thought it was a little different when I saw it. I saw it on a pair of leather gloves, and I thought, yeah, I can do something like that and change the look of it just a little. So here's our one finger. We got here to the end. Now we want to leave a tail because we're also going to be sewing these fingers down, so we might as well use the blue yarn to sew it down because it'll be on the back here. So we're going to pull it through and then come up, pull the chain back a little, come up through that same hole, and then pull the yarn down into it. And that'll lock the stitch right there. All right. So go ahead and do that for all the rest of these fingers. When you've completed this one, I'll show you how to do the one for the right hand next. Well, this is what the left hand looks like finished. So we'll be placing it like this, dropping the thumb, and then start wrapping the fingers. But we'll get to that part here in a little bit. Let me show you how to do the right side. I'm going to set this up here so we can do the same thing for the right side. Now, the right side will have the thumb facing this direction. So you notice how the left is facing this way, the right is facing this way. Now we didn't have to do any flips or anything like that. Everything is still the same. So we have the one end with the short with the curve. So that curve goes over the thumb like so. Come up from the fourth and over to the fourth, and we're going to straighten all this out. And then go ahead and sew it all the way around, and then place our chain stitch design like we did here, and then I'll show you how to finish this up and sew it all together. So are you ready to make all these tails go away? All right, so we're going to start with our base, and you notice here we have our really long tail. So let's go ahead and place that on our needle. Then we're going to take this, fold it in half, and I guess first what we need to do here is finish this off. So I'm going to place square knots in here. And you can leave the little cut ends a little long, it'll be fine. Okay, so that took care of those two. So we're going to take this long end with the 15 stitches, to this long end with the 15 stitches. Notice that we have our little overhang here. And we're going to do a whip stitch. So we're going to pick up that first stitch there. I'm going to go through 2 to make sure that I have a good solid. And then we're just going to go down, pick up stitch by stitch. So we're going to stitch it all the way down here to the end, and then finish this thread off by doing the whip stitch to here. So at the end here, I'm going to go, I went over it twice, and I'm going to tie it off on the inside of the glove. All right, then we're going to pick up this extra piece next. All right, so I have this one threaded, so I'm going to go ahead and do a whip stitch. To make it blend in. And that'll hold that end down. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie it off on the inside. Now to finish these two, what we need to do is pinch the chain and then come from behind and pull that one back. Going to insert our hook and then pull up our chain again, and then you can follow the square and to the center. And what I'm going to do is on the outside I'm going to place a decorative square knot. There we go. So I'm going to pull it through. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same for this one to here so that I can tie a square knot right there. So I finished with both of them coming out. Let's go ahead and place our square knot on the top. And I'm going to add a little security by doing it one more time. Alrighty, and I'm going to add a little finishing touch there. Now for the fingers, whoops, we need to sew the thumb down first. So let's go ahead and take our thumb. Here we can cut this to the length that we have, and we're going to use both of the tails, and we're going to sew this down. Okay, so to make sure it fits you right, place your hand in there, bring it over, and you see how it fits here, and we're just going to do a whip stitch to hold it in place. Oops, my tails fell out. Okay, so we have our nice little opening here. So I'm going to go ahead and push it to the inside and tie it off with a knot. So to fit our first finger, here we have our short one. bring it between your fingers, wrap it around, and where you started here is where we're going to tie it off. Okay? You want to make sure you can see the chain stitch on the top. So with our extra tail here, we want to go ahead and place our stitching. Now I know we still have our loose one there, so I didn't forget about it. Okay, and also too, you want to make sure you pick up that last part of the chain for the last stitch. Okay, I'm going to go through it twice. Now the way I'm showing you how to finish this here is only for this finger. Okay, so that finishes that right there. And then we'll just take these two here and tie a square knot. And for this chain right here, let's take our hook, go down, and here we have our little tail. Oops, need to go down. Pick over just a little bit so it comes up in a different spot. There we go. Whoops, you want it in the same hole. Same hole going down, but scoot over a little so it doesn't snag back up. And then we're going to add a few chain stitches here to the top. So that'll finish the chain look here. Okay. Okay, and we'll sew this or tie this down inside, and then we'll move on to our other fingers. So you see how our little pattern's coming along. So the next one, you want to go between your two fingers. Notice how I'm bringing up the wrong side so you can see it, but we want the chains to be on the top, just like this. Okay, then let's go ahead and take our fingers out. We want it to go over the top of these right here, and we'll be doing the same thing with the rest of our fingers here. I think I made a mistake. Yeah, I did. It was supposed to go under. Okay, well, let's see if we can do that anyway. Yes, we can separate him. All right. So, yes, I made a blooper. So, wrap it around, separate your stitching. I know you're cussing me out, but it's okay. I'm okay. Okay? So that one's supposed to go over and under just like that. Now let's place our hand back in here. Finger, other finger, thumb. Okay. You know something? Yeah, that's right. Because this one wraps around and goes over and under the little one. Okay, so you have to leave enough room for this right here, so this one will go over this one but under the little one right here. I'm going to leave this blooper in here because we're only human, right? We're here for the enjoyment of crochet. So you'll go under, and you can see a little weave pattern. All right, and then this will wrap around as well, and it'll stop right there. So what you'll do is you'll place your hand back in there till you can find the right size that you need for your fingers, because everybody's fingers different. Now this one is long for that reason. Okay, here. I love the look of these gloves. I really do. I think it's fun and different. Okay. And then we're going to take this and wrap it around. And take this one and wrap it around. And then this one. So it'll go along the edge right here. I think it's fun. So let's go ahead and stitch these down, because that's what we need here. I'm going to loosen that finger up just a little bit. Okay. So for this, I'm going to do a little running stitch up to here, and that'll help hold that in place. And this also gives you a custom fit for your glove. So let's go down. And if you notice, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be hitting the chains, and I'll just basically be going over the top of them. You see? I'm going to come down here a couple more. Right there where those chains intersect. Okay. I had this thing worked out in my mind, but sometimes things happen. All right, so this will go inside, and I will tie it off. And then I will do the same thing to the other two fingers, making sure that they fit the way I need it to fit around my fingers. So go ahead and do that and stitch them all down, and basically you're finished with this glove. So here's the finished look of the left glove, and I thought it would look really cool in black yarn with gold trim or a silver trim. You can see how it weaves under and stops right here. And it gives you an open where you can grip and not feel real thick. I like it. Let's get the right one done and see how you like it. I think it's cool. You know, sometimes it's amazing what yarn can do. I think that these, even though the finger goes back here, you've got an open spot, to me they're really comfortable, very flexible, great for text messaging, playing with your phone. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Till next time, bye-bye.